So I am going to start by calling Kevin Scherer up to the front of the room. Come on down, Kevin.
Thank you, Gail. Good afternoon. So again, I'm Kevin Scherer. I'm with the CSR team at Tyson Foods. I love my job and super passionate about what I do. And really looking forward to sharing with you what we've learned in our innovation lab with FSG. It's really been a fantastic experience. So I want to introduce to you Irma Gonzalez. Irma is from a beautiful, colorful town in central Mexico, Guanajuato, where she was born and raised, but was orphaned at an early age. 8 years old, she was forced to drop out of school after only 2 years of formal education so she could take care of her siblings. She never got the opportunity, unfortunately, to go back to school. 20 years ago, she followed her husband to the United States. Her husband was working in Springdale, Arkansas, where our headquarters is, at one of our local poultry plants. She soon joined Tyson Foods as well, and in so many ways is a model employee, dependable, hardworking, and always has this sort of half smile, angelic. Anyway, Irma, unfortunately, in these 20 years in the US, really never learned to speak English. Lots of complexities about Irma's life. She works hard at the plant and then goes home, takes care of her husband, and at the age of 59 is raising her 3 grandchildren as well. So really, Irma has been taking care of others her entire life and really not had the opportunity to take care of herself, which is the story of many of our team members. We have about 122,000 employees at Tyson Foods. About 104,000 of those work on the processing lines, and many of them have very, very similar stories to Irma. We have somewhere between 40 to 60 different languages and cultures at Tyson Foods, and we have some plants where there are 40 different languages spoken in one plant. So you can imagine the kind of human complexity that goes on in that kind of environment. And what we find that they all have in common is not just a lack of resources, but a lack of accessible resources. And so after lots of one-on-one conversations, some survey fatigue, and lots of focus groups, we decided that we wanted to pilot something in the plants, something that we now call Upward Academy. Upward Academy is a workplace education program that is now serving in 27 of our plants across 4 states. It offers free ESL, high school equivalency, and citizenship classes in the plants before and after shifts. It's really been a successful program because we've made the resources accessible. We do this with a partnership with state adult education programs across our footprint. We're in 29 states. And so it's a lot of relationships, but it's worked really, really well. It's this interesting experiment between private and public sector partnerships. And so these adult educators come into the plant, they provide the expertise and the instruction, and we provide sort of the infrastructure and learning environment. Again, we're in 27 plants now. We'll be in 39 by the end of the calendar year. 4 different states. We have well over 1,000 students who are enrolled in daily classes in plants across those 4 states. We've logged in excess of, 125,000 instructional hours. It's really been a beautiful program. And as soon as Irma found out about this program, she enrolled immediately. And after 3 months, and I should say that Irma was not only illiterate in English, but she was illiterate in her own language as well. She came to the US with a tattered dictionary with many of the pages ripped out that she'd been studying since she was a little girl. That was her possession that she valued so much because it represented her goal, right? And so after 3 months of instruction, with this young 23-year-old AmeriCorps volunteer who was teaching in the plant, Brandy Martinez, Irma runs into the plant at 4:30, that's when her class started, 4:30 a.m. in the morning, after getting up at 2:30 a.m. to make lunches for her grandchildren before she got ready to come to class. At 4:30, she comes in beaming and says, Brandy, you'll never guess what happened to me. Brandy says, what happened, Irma? For the first time yesterday, I was able to pick up the phone and make a doctor's appointment by myself. And then she said, that's not it. There's more. She said, and then I went in and I filled out all the forms by myself. That's the kind of simple story, the simple common encounter that you and I take for granted. But for so many people in our workforce is a real complexity. This is a perfect example of Tyson's mission statement, and that is to raise the world's expectation for how much good food can do. And in this case, we're able to actually help Irma, to come alongside her and help her raise her own expectations for herself. So, beautiful story, not unlike many of the other beautiful stories that have already been told this morning, right? But I'm guessing that some of you are out there thinking, it's a beautiful story, makes great heart sense, but what about business sense? Does it make good business sense? Well, I want you to know that we wondered the same thing. And so we partnered with the University of Arkansas and asked them to help us study the impact of this program on our team members, on the communities in which we operate, and the plant environments. In other words, how does it affect our workforce metrics? So after a 6-month study of 16 of our plant locations and 517 of our Upward Academy of students, we compared their retention rates, right, their turnover, versus the general population in those same 16 plants, the same job classifications, same length of employment, and same age range. The difference in retention was absolutely remarkable. We worked with FSG and specifically the ROI Institute, Patty Phillips, shout out to her and her team. I so appreciate the sort of safe and competent context that FSG afforded us to do these kinds of calculations. And when it was all done, drum roll please. Thank you. Oh. ROI was 123%. Now, I have to say the obvious. It's a small sample set. It's 6 months. It's 16 plant locations. We have 130. It's 517 team members. We have 104,000 on the floor. But this is just the beginning. And this has given us the inspiration to continue and to continue with sort of even more resolve. We know that we're on the right path. We're testing the right things. And now we're hungry for even more information. I want to challenge you. What would happen in your company if you went back and had the courageous conversations? If you asked the difficult questions? If you wanted to get close enough to your workforce to understand their complexities? It's a vulnerable position to place yourself, to understand the complexities of your workforce. But that's when the best interventions come to light. I want to encourage you to go back and have those conversations. And hopefully you'll come to the same place that we have, and that is that investing in the stability of your employees is investing in the stability of your business and workforce metrics. Thank you.